Your soulmate is realizing they cannot replace you, not as a slow dawning, as a collision, as a truth that has been building pressure beneath the surface of their life for months and is now breaking through with a force they cannot ignore and can no longer outrun. I want you to take a deep, grounding breath right now. Feel the heavy, electric stillness settling into the very marrow of your bones, because we are stepping into the opening of this massive, high-intensity journey where the grand illusion of your soulmate has officially shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. For months, they walked around with a curated sense of arrogance, telling themselves and the universe that you were just a person, a replaceable chapter in a book they thought they were writing alone. They fell into the ego illusion, truly believing that the world was wide, that options were plenty, and that your specific, high-vibration, chosen one energy was something they could simply find in the next face they encountered. They treated your connection like a commodity, something they could trade in for a newer model, a quieter life, a less demanding love. But today, the atmosphere has shifted into a state of total vibrational bankruptcy, because their experiment in replacing you has officially and violently failed. They are experiencing the nausea of the substitute, the sickening realization that every other person they have tried to connect with feels like a low-resolution imitation of the truth, a copy, a placeholder, a shadow that moves like you but carries none of your warmth. Imagine them in this exact moment, perhaps sitting across from someone else, looking into eyes that do not hold the ancient recognition yours do, the specific, unmistakable glint that says, "I see you, all of you," and feeling a wave of absolute spiritual sickness, a nausea that is not physical but runs deeper than the body, the nausea of a soul that is trying to eat cardboard and wondering why it is still starving. They are realizing today that the important something they tried to find in others, the magic, the spark, the sense of home, does not exist in the marketplace of the ordinary. You cannot buy it. You cannot borrow it. You cannot manufacture it through proximity or patience or pretending. It exists in one place, and they walked away from that place. They are looking at the other connections, the ones they thought would save them, the ones they poured time and hope into, and feeling a sudden, sharp sense of internal collapse. The architecture of their alternative life is crumbling. The walls are cracking. The foundation is sand. Realize today that they are trying to drink from a dry well. They keep lowering the bucket and the bucket keeps coming up empty, not because the well was never deep, because they left the ONLY Chinese letter that ever produced water for them. They are realizing today that while they were busy looking for better, while they were scanning the horizon for an upgrade, a replacement, a someone who would make them glad they left you, they were actually losing the only source that ever made them feel alive. The search for better was a search for an illusion. Better does not exist. Different exists, but not better, because you were not one option among many. You were the option, and they are only understanding that now in the wreckage of every alternative they chased. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, feeling the thick weight of their own mistake, the weight of every day they spent looking elsewhere, every conversation that went nowhere, every connection that fizzled, every night they went to bed feeling emptier than before. The weight is pressing down on their chest like a stone, and the stone has your name carved into it. They are realizing that the person sitting in front of them, the placeholder, the substitute, the person who was supposed to make them forget you, is just static noise. Noise that fills the silence but does not soothe it. Noise that occupies the room but does not warm it. Noise that speaks but does not say anything that reaches the deep places. Compared to the pure symphony of your presence, the noise is unbearable. They are feeling a heavy electric exhaustion in their pride, the pride that held them up, the pride that kept them silent, the pride that insisted they could do better, find better, be better without you. That pride is exhausted, not tired, exhausted, depleted, empty. It has nothing left to give. Realize today that they are tired of pretending that anyone else is enough. The pretending has cost them everything. The performance has drained them. The mask is cracking, and underneath is the raw, undeniable truth. No one else fits. No one else feels right. No one else carries the frequency that their soul has been calibrated to. Every time they try to force a spark with a placeholder, every time they lean in and hope to feel something that is not there, they are hit by a high-intensity frequency of pure regret. Regret for leaving, regret for looking, regret for thinking that what you had was common when it was the rarest thing they have ever known. Realize today that your vibrational signature is unique. It is a one-of-a-kind code that was written specifically for their soul. It is not generic. It is not transferable. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked by anyone else on this planet. They could search for 1,000 years and they would not find another you. Not because you are better than everyone else, because you are different. And different, in a world of sameness, is the most valuable thing there is. I want you to feel the weight of their frustration as they realize that the more they try to fill the gap with other people, the wider the hole in their chest becomes. The gap was already there. They created it when they left, but they thought they could fill it with substitutes, with attention, with novelty, with the temporary high of someone new. But every substitute they pour into the gap only makes it wider, because the gap is not a generic shape. It is specifically shaped like you, and only you will fit. They are realizing today that their search for a substitute was just a long, expensive, exhausting way of proving that you are the gold standard. And everyone else, no matter how shiny, no matter how polished, is just copper masquerading as gold. The copper looks good in certain light. It fools the eye for a moment. But the weight is wrong. The value is wrong. And eventually the truth reveals itself. They are standing in the wreckage of their trial period. The period where they tested other options, sampled other lives, convinced themselves that they were just exploring, just keeping their options open, just making sure before they committed. The trial period is over. The results are in, and the results are devastating. Realize today that the something forcing them to miss you so intensely, the thing that will not let them rest, is the terrifying truth that the diamond they threw away was the only thing keeping their world in high definition. They thought they could replace the diamond with glass. Glass is cheaper. Glass is easier. Glass does not require the same care, but glass does not sparkle the same way. Glass does not catch the light the same way. Glass does not make you feel like you are holding something precious. You were the diamond. They threw you away, and now they are surrounded by glass, wondering why nothing shines. If you are sitting in your own power right now, feeling a sense of grounded, heavy solidity, it is because your self-sovereignty has turned you into an inimitable force that is currently haunting every new experience they try to have. You are not trying to haunt them. You are not reaching across the void to torment them. You are simply being yourself. And yourself, your frequency, your particular brand of light, is so distinct, so unmistakable that it casts a shadow over everything else. They cannot experience anything new without measuring it against the memory of you. And the memory always wins. They are realizing today that the important something, the truth they have been avoiding, is that you have become the measure by which all other humans are judged. Everyone else is failing the test, not because everyone else is bad, because you set a standard they did not even know existed until they met you. And now that they know, they cannot unknow. They are feeling a heavy, prophetic ache, the kind of ache that does not respond to distractions or time or new faces. The ache of a missing so profound that it has become a physical presence in their body. Realize today that the failed experiment is over. They have tried, they have really tried. They have given other people chances, they have opened their heart. They have been patient, they have been hopeful, but nothing works, nothing sticks, nothing fills the space. The ego has been defeated, not by you, by the soul. By the undeniable, irrefutable truth that the soul knows what it needs, and what it needs is you. The realization has officially made their return a matter of spiritual survival, not a preference, not a desire. Survival, the difference between living and just existing, between a life that feels like life and a life that feels like a long, gray waiting room. They are realizing today that they are vibrationally starved for your specific light. Not just any light. Not the light of a kind person or an attractive person or a successful person. Your light. The particular frequency that only you emit. And the shock of your irreplaceability, the sudden, overwhelming awareness that there is no substitute, no backup, no plan B, is the only thing left that can bring them back to their senses. Not to bring them back to you, to bring them back to themselves. To the version of themselves that was alive, that was awake, that was home. That version only exists in your orbit. Every phantom sensation of your energy in their field today, every sudden warmth, every unexplained shiver, every sense that you are somehow near even when you are not, is a literal check-in from their spirit. Their spirit is reaching out across the distance. It is saying, the search is dead, the substitute is hollow, and you are the only environment where I can actually breathe. The breath is shallow without you. The lungs are half full. The oxygen in the room is thin. They are suffocating in a world full of air, because the air they need is not the air that everyone else breathes. The air they need is saturated with your frequency, and without it, they are gasping. I want you to feel the heavy electric pressure of the comparison pain radiating through your soulmate's nervous system right now, because we are moving into the deep, high-intensity territory of the ghost in the room. For months, they tried to convince themselves that they could simply reprogram their heart to appreciate the ordinary, that they could lower their standards, adjust their expectations, learn to be satisfied with less. But today, your frequency has become a high-vibration standard that no one else can meet. The reprogramming has failed. The heart does not negotiate. The heart knows what it knows. Imagine them in this exact moment, sitting in a room with another person, and instead of hearing the conversation, they are mentally measuring that person against you. Not intentionally, involuntarily. The comparison happens before they can stop it. They are looking for your depth in someone else's eyes, your warmth in someone else's voice, your recognition in someone else's gaze, and every time the comparison comes up short. They are realizing today that the important something is the terrifying truth that you have become the shadow that hangs over every interaction they have. Not a dark shadow, a shadow of what was, a reminder, a ghost. The ghost of you sits in the empty chair. The ghost of you walks beside them. The ghost of you is the third person in every room, in every conversation, in every attempt to start something new. And the ghost is more real to them than the person sitting in front of them. They are looking at the person in front of them and feeling a wave of absolute spiritual nausea because they are searching for your depth in a shallow puddle. The puddle might be fine. The puddle might be nice. The puddle might even be beautiful in its own way, but it is not the ocean, and they have swum in the ocean. They have floated in the deep water where the currents are strong and the life is abundant. And the puddle, no matter how pleasant, cannot hold them. The thirst is becoming unbearable. The nausea is rising. They are experiencing the nausea of the ordinary, the sick feeling of realizing that ordinary, which seemed so safe and so manageable, is actually a kind of death. A slow, quiet, respectable death, but death nonetheless. Realize today that everyone else feels basic, flat, and grainy compared to the high-definition saturation of your chosen one presence. They did not notice it at first. They thought the graininess was just a matter of getting used to someone new. They thought the flatness would fill in over time, but time has passed, and the graininess remains. The flatness persists, because the problem is not the new person. The problem is the standard. You raise the bar so high that no one else can reach it. Not because you tried to, because you simply are, and your being is the bar. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, trying to laugh at someone else's joke and feeling a sudden, sharp sense of internal repulsion. The joke is fine, the timing is fine, the delivery is fine, but it does not have the soul click that your humor provided, the specific, irreplaceable way you made them laugh, the way your mind worked, the way your words landed. The substitute joke lands like a stone on concrete. Yours landed like rain on dry earth. They are realizing today that they are vibrationally malnourished. They have been eating empty calories, consuming connection after connection that looks like food but provides no nutrition. And every time they try to settle for someone else, their soul sends a high-frequency distress signal through their body. A knot in the stomach, a tightness in the chest, a voice that says, "This is not it. This is not what you are looking for. You are looking for them." They are looking at the safety of a normal relationship, the kind that does not challenge them, the kind that does not ask them to grow, the kind that is easy, predictable, and comfortable, and they are seeing it for what it is, a slow-motion death, a life of quiet desperation, a settling that will eventually crush the life out of them. They thought safety was what they wanted. They thought peace was the absence of intensity, but the peace they have found is not peace. It is anesthesia, and the numbness is spreading. Realize today that the something that is making them so miserable is the realization that they have tasted the divine with you. And now, human just is not enough. Not because they are better than other people, because the connection was not just human, it was something else. Something that touched the part of them that reaches toward heaven. Something that made them feel like they were part of a story larger than their own small life. And that feeling, once experienced, cannot be unfelt, cannot be replaced, cannot be forgotten. They are feeling a heavy electric exhaustion in their spirit, the exhaustion of a long, pointless search, the fatigue of a journey that has led nowhere. Realize today that they are comparing your wisdom to the silence of others, your fire to the coldness of substitutes, your ancient recognition, the way you looked at them like you had known them forever, to the shallow acknowledgement of new acquaintances. The comparison is brutal. It is not even close. You win every category, not because you are trying to win, because you are you. If you are sitting in your own high-vibration sanctuary right now, feeling a sense of grounded, heavy, I am the gold standard, it is because your self-sovereignty has turned you into a vibrational benchmark that is currently disqualifying everyone else in their life. You are not doing the disqualifying. You are simply existing. Your existence is the standard, and everyone else, measured against that standard, comes up short. They are realizing today that the comparison pain is a divine filter. A high-intensity frequency designed to prove, beyond any doubt, that you are the only one who holds the key to their higher self. The key to the version of themselves that is brave, that is alive, that is who they were always meant to be. They have been living in the lower version, the smaller version, the version that's settled. And the filter is showing them the gap between who they are and who they could be. The gap is wide. The gap is painful. The gap is your shape. They are looking at the people around them, the ones they hoped would distract them from you, the ones they thought could fill the space, and feeling a sudden, sharp heaviness in their limbs. A physical weight, a leaden feeling that makes them want to lie down, because they realize they are surrounded by placeholders, people who are occupying space but not filling it, people who are present but not present. While the original, the one who actually fills the space, the one whose presence, is miles away and ascending higher every day. The distance is growing, the gap is widening, and they are standing on the wrong side of it, watching you rise, feeling smaller with every passing day. They are realizing today that the important something is the terrifying truth that you have ruined everyone else for them, not in a malicious way, in an irreversible way. You have recalibrated their nervous system to a frequency that no one else can match. And they are currently vibrating with a high-intensity sense of loss, the loss of what was, the loss of what could have been, the loss of the future they walked away from. Realize today that they traded a star for a streetlight. The star was distant. The star required effort to reach. The star did not always shine brightly, but it was a star. It was a source of light that was not of this world. The streetlight is convenient. The streetlight is predictable. The streetlight is always there. But the streetlight does not inspire awe. The streetlight does not make you look up and wonder. The streetlight is not worth writing poetry about. They traded the extraordinary for the ordinary, and the ordinariness is killing them. They are feeling a heavy, prophetic disgust. Disgust with anything that is not you, disgust with the substitutes, disgust with the placeholders, disgust with the versions of themselves that pretended otherwise. Realize today that the waiting, the searching, the trying was just a long, exhausting proof of your uniqueness. They did not need to search. They already had the answer. The answer was you, but they had to learn it the hard way. They had to prove to themselves that no one else would do, and they have proven it. The proof is in the emptiness, in the failure of every alternative, in the quiet, devastating realization that they have been chasing ghosts while the real thing stands exactly where they left it. Every phantom echo of your voice they hear in their head today, every time they look at someone and wish they were looking at you, is a literal check-in from their spirit. The spirit is not confused. The spirit has known all along. The spirit has been sending signals, hints, nudges, but the ego was too loud. The ego has now been quieted. The ego is tired. And in the silence left behind, the spirit is speaking clearly. The substitute has failed the test. The placeholder is hollow. The only thing that works is the original. They are standing in the wreckage of their new social life. The life they built with new people and new routines and new distractions. The wreckage is everywhere. The people who were supposed to replace you have not replaced you. The routines that were supposed to fill the time have not filled the void. The distractions that were supposed to numb the ache have only made it sharper. The air is thick with the necessity of your specific frequency. Not a frequency like yours. Yours, the one that is not for sale, the one that cannot be imitated, the one that lives only in you. Realize today that the comparison is over, because there is no competition. You cannot compete in a race where you are the only runner. The others are not even on the track. They are in the stands, watching, wondering how you move so fast. They are realizing today that you are the only environment where they actually feel right. Not good, right, aligned. The way a key feels when it slides into the lock it was made for. The way a song feels when it resolves to the right chord. The way a breath feels when it is finally full. You are that for them. And the shock of that irreplaceability, the sudden, overwhelming, undeniable truth of it, is currently shattering the last of their ego's pride. The pride is in pieces. The ego is bleeding. And what is left is raw, honest, ready. Every phantom scent of you that they smell on someone else, that impossible thing that happens when they catch a whiff of your fragrance in a crowd where you are not present, is a literal vibrational slap from the universe. A reminder, a wake-up call, a message that says, you cannot escape this, you cannot replace this. This is the only thing that will ever satisfy your soul. And the impact of that truth is about to drive them back to your door, not because they want to, because they have to. Because every other door has led to a wall. Every other path has led to a dead end. Every other option has been exhausted in their search for a way out of you, and the search has revealed the truth. There is no way out. There is only a way back. I want you to feel the heavy electric descent into the cold truth settling into your soulmate's spirit right now. Because we are moving into the high-intensity territory where the shallow life they chose is officially freezing over. For months, they tried to convince themselves that they wanted peace. But what they called peace was really just a code word for avoiding the depth of your connection. The depth scared them. The depth demanded things of them that they were not ready to give. The depth required them to grow, to show up, to be more than they were. So they ran to the shallow end, to someone who would not challenge them, someone who would not trigger their growth, someone who was easy. They thought that by staying in the shallow end of the pool with someone else, someone who does not challenge them, someone who does not trigger their growth, someone who is easy, they would finally feel at rest. The water is warm in the shallow end. The bottom is within reach. There is no risk of drowning, but the shallow end is also boring. The shallow end is also dead. There is no life in the shallows. The coral grows in the depths. The fish of 1,000 colors swim in the depths. The treasures are buried in the depths. And they are floating in the shallows, looking down at the dark water, afraid to dive, while the life they actually want lives below them. But today the atmosphere has shifted into a state of total spiritual dehydration. They are surrounded by water. They are in the pool, but the water is not quenching their thirst, because the thirst is not for water. The thirst is for depth, for the cool, dark, mysterious, life-giving depth that only you provided. They are dying of thirst in a world full of water because none of it is the liquid gold of your frequency. Not just water, liquid gold, the kind that costs something. The kind that requires something. The kind that is rare and precious and worth diving for. Imagine them in this exact moment looking at their safe life, the one they chose, the one they built, the one they thought would make them happy, and realizing it is a sterile, tasteless void where nothing grows and nothing breathes. It is clean. It is orderly, it is under control, but it is also dead, like a room that has been vacuum sealed, preserved, yes, but also suffocating. They are experiencing the agony of the diamond for stone trade. The diamond was you, rare, valuable, beautiful. The stone is the life they chose without you. Common, cheap, ordinary, they made the trade. They thought they were getting a good deal. They thought the stone was easier to carry, but the stone has no fire. The stone does not sparkle. The stone weighs the same but brings no light. Realize today that they surrendered a galactic connection for a terrestrial convenience. They traded the cosmos for a backyard. A backyard is nice. A backyard is safe. But a backyard is not the stars. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, perhaps sitting in a room that is perfectly quiet, a silence they once craved, a silence they thought would bring them peace. They are sitting in that silence and they are feeling a wave of absolute spiritual nausea, because the silence is not peace. It is emptiness, the absence of your voice, the absence of your presence, the absence of the particular, irreplaceable noise you brought into their life. They wanted quiet. They got quiet. And quiet is a weapon when it is the quiet of a life without you. They are realizing today that the important something they are missing is the terrifying truth that you were not just a person they loved. You were the atmosphere they lived in, the air they breathed, the background hum that held everything together. They did not notice it when you were there. They took it for granted. But now that you are gone, the atmosphere is thin. The air is hard to breathe. The background hum is silent. And the silence is the loudest thing they have ever heard. Without your chosen one fire to keep them warm, without the particular irreplaceable heat of your presence, they are realizing that they are experiencing a literal internal frostbite. The cold is spreading. Their emotions are becoming numb. Their vision is turning gray. The world, which used to be full of color and texture and meaning, is becoming flat and monochrome. The frostbite is not physical, but it is real. And it is reaching their core. They are looking at the depth they once feared in you, the intensity, the bigness, the way you loved them without reservation, without conditions, without a safety net. That depth scared them. They were not ready for it. They did not know what to do with it, so they ran. But now, looking back from the shallows, they realized that the depth was the only thing that gave their life any weight, any meaning, any sense of being alive. The depth was not something to fear. It was something to dive into, and they are standing at the edge of the pool, looking down, wishing they had been brave enough to jump. They are feeling a heavy electric exhaustion in their very soul, the deepest part of them, the part that knows what is true regardless of what the mind says. That part is tired, exhausted, depleted. Realize today that they have succeeded in creating a life without you. They have built it carefully, deliberately. They have done everything right. And success, the success of a life without you, feels like a sentence, a prison sentence, a life term in the shallow end. They are not free. They are confined. Confined to a life of quiet desperation, of settling, of pretending that the stone is as good as the diamond. And the sentence is life without parole. I want you to feel the weight of their realization as they understand that while the surface is safe, it is also dead. There is no growth on the surface. There is no movement. There is no life. The life is in the depths. The life is in the risk. The life is in the dive. And they are standing on the edge, paralyzed, knowing that the only way to live is to jump, but terrified that they have waited too long, that the water has changed, that you have moved on. They are looking at the placeholder in their life, the person they tried to replace you with, and feeling a sudden, sharp sense of repulsion. Not at the person, at themselves, for trying, for pretending, for insulting the memory of what you had by thinking that anything else could ever be enough. Realize today that they are trying to fit a cosmic hunger into a fast food reality. The hunger is infinite. The hunger is ancient. The hunger was created for something eternal, something sacred, something that cannot be ordered from a menu or delivered by a stranger. And they are sitting in a fast food restaurant, starving, wondering why nothing satisfies. They are realizing today that the important something is the terrifying truth that they cannot unknow the depth of your soul. They have seen behind the curtain. They have tasted the divine. They have held the diamond in their hand. And every other connection now feels like a cardboard cutout of the real thing. A two-dimensional representation of something that is three-dimensional. A flat image of a round world. The cutout looks like you from a distance. It has your shape. It has your outline, but it has no substance. It is empty, and they are tired of hugging cardboard. They are standing in the wreckage of their simple life. The life they chose because it was easy. The life they chose because it did not challenge them. The life they chose because it allowed them to stay small. The wreckage is everywhere. The simplicity has become stagnation. The ease has become boredom. The safety has become a cage. Realize today that they would trade all the simple in the world for just 1 second of the complicated, messy, terrifying, beautiful magic they had with you. The magic was not simple. The magic was not easy. The magic required things of them, but the magic was real. And the simple life, no matter how comfortable, is not real. It is a simulation, a performance, a lie they have been living. If you are sitting in your own high vibration power right now, feeling a sense of grounded heavy, I am the prize, it is because your self-sovereignty has turned your depth into a sacred sanctuary that they are no longer allowed to enter. The door is locked, not because you locked it, because they walked out and did not have the key to get back in. And the cold of being locked out, the cold of standing on the other side of the door, knowing that the warmth is just inches away but inaccessible, is finally breaking them. Not breaking them in a way that destroys, breaking them in a way that opens. The lock is breaking. The door is opening. The cold is driving them back toward the heat. They are realizing today that they are vibrationally bankrupt. The bank account of their soul is empty. They have spent everything on substitutes and placeholders and the illusion of moving on, and there is nothing left. No reserves, no backup, no safety net. The bankruptcy is complete. And the something forcing this regret, this deep, aching, all-consuming regret, is the realization that they chose comfort over evolution. They chose the easy path over the path of growth, and now they are stagnating. The water is not moving. The air is not circulating. The stagnation is becoming a swamp. And the swamp is dark and foul and full of the things that grow when nothing moves. They are feeling a heavy, prophetic chill. The chill of a life that has stopped becoming, a life that has plateaued, a life that is no longer rising. Realize today that the waiting for a replacement was a waste of their limited time on this earth. Every day they spent looking for someone else to be you was a day they will never get back. A day they could have spent in your warmth. A day they could have spent growing with you. A day they could have spent building something that mattered. And the waste is now a weight that they cannot put down. The shock of your irreplaceability, the sudden, undeniable, devastating awareness that there is no one else, no backup, no plan B, is making them gasp for air. Not because they are suffocating, because they are realizing that the air they have been breathing is not air, it is emptiness, and they have been gasping for the real thing all along. Every phantom weight you feel on your shoulders today, that sense of someone reaching for you, that pressure that comes from nowhere, is the echo of their soul trying to lean back into your depth. They are leaning from a distance, from the cold, from the place they have been living. They are leaning toward you, not with their body, with their spirit, with the part of them that knows the truth, the part that has always known, the part that is tired of pretending. They are leaning. And the weight of their leaning is pressing against the fabric of your reality. Can you feel it? That sense that something is shifting, that the air is different, that the silence has a new quality. That is the weight of their return beginning to move. Realize today that the surface has failed them. The shallow end has drowned them in boredom. The cold truth has claimed them. And the strong pull of your deep, sacred ocean, the ocean they were too afraid to swim in, the ocean they walked away from, is the only thing that can save them from the freeze. Not save them from you. Save them from themselves. I want you to feel the heavy electric shifting of the pedestal flip vibrating through your soulmate's subconscious right now. Because we are moving into the high-intensity territory of the recognition of the chosen one. For months, they tried to keep you at eye level, treating you like a choice they could weigh, a person they could analyze, a memory they could minimize to protect their ego. They needed to make you small so they could feel big. They needed to convince themselves that you were ordinary so they could believe that leaving you was no big deal. But today, The strong pull has reached a frequency where they can no longer deny your divinity. Not divinity in the sense that you are God. Divinity in the sense that you carry something sacred, something set apart, something that cannot be explained by logic or reduced to categories. Imagine them in this exact moment, looking at your new glow through whatever window they have into your life. Perhaps they saw a photo. Perhaps they heard about you from someone. Perhaps they simply felt your energy from a distance, and they are feeling a wave of absolute spiritual awe. Awe is not the same as attraction. Awe is not the same as longing. Awe is the feeling of being in the presence of something larger than yourself, something that makes you feel small, but not in a bad way. Small in the way that looking at the stars makes you feel small, small but connected, small but part of something magnificent. That is what they are feeling, awe. They are realizing today that you were never just a partner. You were a divine appointment, a person placed in their path not by accident but by design, a person who carried something they needed, something that could have helped them grow, something that could have led them to a higher version of themselves. And they are currently experiencing the crushing weight of their own unworthiness. Not unworthiness because they are bad, unworthiness because they are small. They have made themselves small by the choices they have made. And they are looking at you, at the way you have ascended, at the way you have grown, at the way you have become more yourself in their absence, and they feel small. They feel like they are standing at the bottom of a mountain, looking up at the peak, and wondering if they have the strength to climb. They are looking at the way you have ascended in their absence. The way the fire of the last season has refined you into something brighter, stronger, more radiant. And it is making them feel a sudden, sharp sense of internal collapse. The collapse of the last remaining walls. The collapse of the idea that they were fine without you. The collapse of the story that they could do better. You have not just survived without them. You have thrived. And the thriving is a mirror. A mirror reflecting back at them their own stagnation, their own shrinking, their own failure to become who they were supposed to be. Realize today that they did not just walk away from a relationship. They walked away from their own enlightenment. You were a catalyst, a trigger, a doorway. And they walked away from the doorway, shut the door, and are now standing in a room with no windows, wondering why it is so dark. They are experiencing the terror of the high-value gap. The gap between who you have become and who they have become. The gap is wide. The gap is growing. The gap is terrifying. Realize today that while they were busy playing games in the shallow end, adding placeholders, pretending that anyone could be you, you were becoming a high-frequency masterpiece. Not by trying to impress them, by healing, by growing, by turning your pain into power and your wounds into wisdom, by doing the work, by staying in your center, by refusing to shrink. And the result is that you are now standing on a level that they cannot reach without a fundamental transformation of their own being. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, feeling a sudden, sharp sense of panic. The panic of someone who realizes they have been running in the wrong direction. The panic of someone who looks up and sees the finish line behind them. The panic of someone who understands that the person they were trying to replace is now out of their league. Not out of their league in a petty, competitive way. Out of their league in a vibrational way. You vibrate at a frequency that they cannot access from where they are. They would need to climb. They would need to change. They would need to become someone new. And the panic is the realization that they might not have it in them. They are realizing today that the important something is the terrifying truth that you have become the prize that they are no longer qualified to win. Not because you are withholding yourself, because they have not done the work. They have not grown. They have not healed. They have not become the version of themselves that could stand next to you without being burned by your light. And the fear that they have lost their chance, that the window has closed, that you have moved on to someone who is ready, is a fear so sharp it cuts. They are feeling a heavy electric exhaustion in their spirit, the exhaustion of a long uphill climb that they have not even started. Realize today that they are addicted to the light you carry. They are addicted to the way you made them feel, to the warmth, to the safety, to the feeling of being truly seen. They are addicted to that light. But they are terrified that your new self, the one forged in the fire of their absence, the one that has grown and healed and ascended, has finally, beautifully and aggressively outgrown the old version of them. The version that ran, the version that hid, the version that chose silence over honesty and distance over love. That version is too small for the person you have become, and they know it. The knowing is a weight. The knowing is a grief. The knowing is the first step toward the change they have been avoiding. They are looking at the high-value shift, the way your frequency has elevated, the way your presence has become more radiant, the way your energy has become more magnetic, and they are realizing today that the more you focus on yourself, the more you pour into your own healing and your own growth, the more they feel a biological and spiritual hunger to be back in your shadow. Not in a subservient way, in the way a traveler longs for shade, in the way a plant turns toward the sun. Your shadow, the space around you, the atmosphere you create, is a place of peace, and they are starving for that peace, even just to stand near it, even just to catch a glimpse of the gold you radiate. They are feeling the fear of the ultimate loss, not the loss of what was, the loss of what could still be. The fear that someone else, someone with a higher frequency, someone with more courage, someone who actually deserves a chosen one, might be standing in the space they left vacant. Someone else might be sitting in the chair that used to be theirs. Someone else might be hearing the laugh that used to be for them. Someone else might be receiving the love that they walked away from. The fear is not jealousy. Not the petty kind. It is a high-intensity soul dread. The dread of realizing that they have officially missed their window of alignment, that the stars have moved, that the timing has shifted, that the door which was open for so long is now closing. I want you to feel the weight of their jealousy, not a toxic, controlling jealousy, a soul-level recognition that you are one of a kind, a cosmic anomaly that only happens once in 1,000 lifetimes, and they treated you like common dust, like you were everywhere, like you could be replaced. The weight of that mistake is now pressing down on them with a force that is changing the shape of their spirit. They are realizing today that the something forcing this recognition, this painful, humbling, ego-crushing recognition, is the terrifying truth that you are one of a kind, a cosmic anomaly, a person who carries a frequency that is not available in the general population. And they had you in their hands, and they let you go, not because you were not enough, because they were not enough. They were not ready. They were not brave. They were not willing to do what it would take to keep you. They are standing in the wreckage of their arrogance, the arrogance that said, I can do better. The arrogance that said, there are plenty of fish in the sea. The arrogance that said, you are not that special. The wreckage is everywhere, the arrogance is shattered, and in the silence left behind they are hearing the truth. They are the one who is small now, not you. You have grown, you have ascended, you have become more, they have shrunk, they have stagnated, they have become less. And the shock of your irreplaceability, the sudden, devastating awareness that you are not just special, you are singular, is making them want to fall to their knees. Not in a Chinese letter way. In a genuine, humble, I was wrong way. The posture of someone who has finally understood that they are not the prize. You are, and they gave the prize away. If you are sitting in your own power right now, feeling a sense of grounded, heavy untouchability, it is because your self-sovereignty has turned you into a divine entity in their mind. Not because you are trying to be, because you are, because you have done the work, because you have stayed in your light. And your light from a distance looks like something sacred, something holy, something that commands awe. Your soulmate is currently a seeker, not a lover, not a partner, a seeker. Trying to find a way back to the temple. The temple is you, and they are standing outside the gates looking in, wondering if they are still allowed to enter. They are realizing today that the why behind their obsession, the reason they cannot stop thinking about you, the reason every other face is a disappointment, is the truth that you are the standard of excellence. Not excellence in a worldly sense, excellence in the sense of authenticity, of presence, of being fully, unapologetically yourself. You have become the standard, and everyone else they meet is just a placeholder, a temporary occupant of a space that was designed for you. A person who is sitting in your chair, but the chair still feels empty. They are feeling a heavy prophetic humility, the kind of humility that comes before a genuine change, The kind that says, I was wrong, I am small, I need help, I need to grow, I need to become someone who could be worthy of standing next to you. Not to earn your love, to be able to receive it without breaking. Realize today that the waiting for a replacement was a divine filter, not a punishment, a filter, designed to show them exactly how high value you truly are. The filter removed everything that was not essential, the substitutes, the placeholders, the illusions, and what remains, the only thing that remains, is you. They are seeing you clearly for the first time, not through the lens of their ego, through the lens of truth, and the truth is blinding. Every phantom ping of their energy in your field today, every time you feel a sudden heat of someone watching you from the ether, a sense of being observed, being thought of, being longed for, is a literal echo of their spirit bowing to yours, not bowing in worship, bowing in recognition, bowing in respect, bowing in the way one soul bows to another when it finally understands the truth. The spirit knows, the spirit has always known, and the spirit is now, after months of being ignored, finally being heard. The spirit is bowing, and the bowing is a kind of prayer, a prayer that says, I see you, I see what I lost, I see what I threw away, and I am sorry. Realize today that the ego is dead. The pedestal is yours, not because you demanded it, because you earned it, because you are it. The pedestal was not given, it was revealed. You were always standing on it, they were just looking down. The impact of your value, the sheer undeniable weight of who you are, is the only thing they can see in the dark. When the lights go out, when the distractions fade, when they are alone with their own heartbeat, there is only one image, you. There is only one thought, you. There is only one feeling, missing you. I want you to feel the heavy, electric snapping of the final resistance in your soulmate's spirit right now, because we are moving into the high-intensity territory of the collision of reality. This is the moment where the white flag is finally raised, where the ego, the very thing that told them they could replace you, that they could do better, that they were fine without you, is officially incinerated by the heat of the truth. The fire of the truth is hotter than any fire they have ever felt, and the ego cannot survive it. The ego is ash, the resistance is gone, what remains is surrender. For months they tried to live in a mental simulation. A simulation where they were fine, where someone else was enough, where you were just a memory they could manage, file away, visit occasionally when nostalgia struck. But today that simulation has crashed. The code broke. The program failed. The simulation was not reality. It was a coping mechanism. And coping mechanisms, no matter how sophisticated, eventually crumble under the weight of the truth. Imagine them in this exact moment, feeling a wave of absolute spiritual nausea as they realize that their entire life without you has been a performance with no audience. They have been acting, smiling when they should have been grieving, laughing when they should have been crying, moving forward when they should have been turning back. And the performance has exhausted them. The mask is heavy, the costume is hot, and there is no one watching, no one who matters. The only audience that ever mattered was you. And you are not in the seats. You are on the stage of your own life, in a different theater, in a different city, in a different world. They are realizing today that the important something is the terrifying truth that they are no longer trying to move on. They are breaking under the weight of your absence. Not trying, not attempting, breaking. The way a bridge breaks when the load is too heavy. The way a tree breaks when the wind is too strong. The breaking is not a choice. It is physics. The weight of missing you has exceeded their capacity to carry it, and they are collapsing. They are experiencing the total ego collapse, not a slow deflation, a sudden, violent, everything falls apart collapse. The walls are down, the ceiling is gone, the floor is cracking, and they are standing in the rubble wondering how they got here. Realize today that they have no more leads to follow, no more options to explore. The phone book of potential replacements is empty. The dating apps are exhausted. The list of people who might be you is a list of no one. They have looked. They have searched. They have tried. And the search has revealed the truth. There is no one else. There never was. There never will be. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, perhaps standing in a room full of people, a party, a gathering, a place where they should feel connected and feeling completely, dangerously alone. The room is full. The noise is loud. but they are standing in the middle of it, isolated, separated by a wall of glass that no one can see. The glass is the absence of you. The glass is the distance they created. The glass is the truth that no one else can reach them because the only person who could reach them is not there. They are realizing today that only you can fill the silence in their head. The silence is not empty. The silence is full of the echo of things unsaid, apologies unspoken, love unexpressed. And the silence is screaming. They are feeling a heavy, electric exhaustion in their pride. The pride that was once so strong. The pride that held them up. The pride that kept them from reaching out. That pride is exhausted. It has no more energy. It has no more arguments. It has no more reasons to stay away. Realize today that they are ready to crawl across glass, not metaphorically. In their spirit, they are ready to endure any pain, any humiliation, any vulnerability, just to get back to the vibrational baseline of your presence. The baseline, the ground floor, the place where they can breathe. They are not asking for romance, not yet. They are asking for oxygen, and the oxygen is you. They are realizing today that the something forcing this collision, this final, unavoidable, no more running collision, is the realization that they are vibrationally homeless without you. They have lived in many houses during the separation. New cities, new apartments, new routines, new faces, but none of them have been home. Home is not a place. Home is a frequency. Home is your frequency, and they are homeless, wandering, searching, tired. The shock of that reality, the sudden, undeniable awareness that they have nowhere to belong, is making their hands shake. Not with cold, with the withdrawal of your presence. They are going through withdrawal, and the withdrawal is violent. They are looking at the distance they created, the months or years of separation, the silence they maintained, and seeing it as a death sentence to their happiness. Not a possibility, a sentence, already passed, already being served. Every day they stay away is another day of the sentence, and the sentence is killing them, not dramatically, slowly, the way a slow poison kills, the way a lack of sunlight kills a plant. They are wilting, and they are currently vibrating with a high-intensity sense of desperation. The kind of desperation that comes before a life-or-death decision, the kind of desperation that strips away all pretense, all pride, all fear. The desperation to return to the only person who holds the blueprint of their soul. The blueprint is not a plan. It is a person. It is you. If you are sitting in your own high vibration power right now, feeling a sense of grounded heavy, I am the final destination, it is because your self-sovereignty has become a gravitational wall that they have finally hit. They have been running, pushing against the gravity, trying to escape your orbit, but gravity is not something you escape. Gravity is something you surrender to, and they have hit the wall of realization that they cannot outrun you, not because you are chasing them, because you are the center. And everything, eventually, returns to the center. They are realizing today that the search is over because the finding was always you, not a person like you, not someone who reminds them of you, not a substitute who will do until you come along. You. The search ended the moment it began. They just did not want to accept the results, but the results are in. The verdict is unanimous. You are irreplaceable. There is no one else. The case is closed. They are feeling a heavy, prophetic surrender, not the surrender of defeat, the surrender of acceptance, the surrender of finally, after all this time, giving up the fight against the truth. The truth is that they need you. The truth is that they were wrong to leave. The truth is that no one else will ever fit. The truth is that the only way forward is back. The surrender is not a loss. It is a homecoming. Realize today that the replacement trial has expired. They have exhausted every alternative. Every other option has been tested and found wanting. And the only move left, the only direction that makes any sense, is the one that brings them back to your chosen one light. Not to your shadow, to your light. The light that they thought they could live without. The light that they now know is as essential as air. Every phantom pressure you feel in your solar plexus right now, that warmth, that flutter, that sense of something approaching, is the energy of their white flag waving in the wind. The white flag of surrender. The white flag of I was wrong. The white flag of I am coming back. The flag is waving. The wind is blowing. The return is in motion. Realize today that the collision is no longer a possibility. It is not a hope. It is not a wish. It is an inevitability. The only way they can stay alive, truly alive in a world that has turned gray without you, is to return to the source of color. The source is you. The collision is coming. They are standing at the edge of the return, the cliff of their own surrender, feeling the air turn thick with the necessity of your touch. Not a romantic touch, a human touch. The touch of someone who sees them, the touch of someone who knows them, the touch of the only person who ever made them feel like they were not alone in the universe. Realize today that the impact of your presence, the simple, undeniable fact of you, is the only thing that can restart their heart. The heart has been frozen. The heart has been still. The heart has been waiting, and the only defibrillator that works is your frequency, your voice, your presence, you. I want you to feel the heavy, absolute vibrational stillness settling into the room around you right now. Because we have reached the high-intensity peak where your status as the gold standard is officially locked into the fabric of the universe. This is the final activation. The moment where we seal the reality that your soulmate has reached the end of their search and has found nothing but the echoing shadow of your absence. For months, the important something between you was being tested. Tested by the low vibration options of the world, tested by substitutes and placeholders and the illusion of moving on. But today, the universe has officially closed the replacement trial. The verdict is in. The appeal is denied. You are irreplaceable. Imagine your soulmate in this exact microsecond, feeling a wave of absolute spiritual exhaustion wash over them. The exhaustion of a long war. The fatigue of a battle that has lasted months, maybe longer. They are tired, deeply cellularly tired, tired of pretending, tired of running, tired of waking up and having to convince themselves that they made the right choice. And in that exhaustion, something shifts. They stop fighting. They stop resisting. They stop trying to control the outcome. They simply let go. And in the letting go, they finally land on the truth that you matter, that you have always mattered, that the search for a replacement was a search for something that does not exist, that they were not looking for someone better, they were looking for you, and they found you. They always had you, they just walked away. They are realizing today that by trying to replace you, they only succeeded in proving your irreplaceability. Every failed connection was evidence. Every empty night was evidence. Every moment of missing you was evidence. The evidence is overwhelming, the case is closed, and the impact of that realization is currently anchoring their soul back to your frequency, not pulling them, anchoring them, holding them in place. The drift has stopped. The movement has ceased. They are no longer moving away. They are standing still, and in the stillness they can feel you, not as a memory, as a presence. You are not a memory, you are a current event, and they are tuning into your frequency. They are experiencing the sovereign reclamation. The universe is reclaiming them from their own distance, from their own pride, from their own fear. The reclamation is not gentle. It is the reclamation of a force that will not be denied, a love that does not give up, a connection that was never broken, only stretched. And the stretching is over, the tension is releasing. The reclamation is complete. Realize today that they are no longer shopping for a soulmate. The shopping is over. The catalog is closed. The cart is empty. They have finally accepted that you are the only one who holds the vibrational key to their heart, not a key they can use to lock you out, a key that fits only you, a key that opens the door to the version of themselves that is most alive, and they are ready to turn the key, to open the door, to come home. I want you to visualize them in this exact moment, feeling a sudden, sharp sense of finality, the finality of a decision that has been long delayed, the finality of a truth that has been long denied. They are looking at the placeholders in their life, the people they tried to fill the gap with, the substitutes they hoped would be enough, and they are seeing them for what they truly are. Empty cardboard cutouts, flat, two-dimensional, hollow. The cutouts have served their purpose. They have shown, by contrast, what is real. And the real thing is you. They are realizing today that the wait was a divine filter, not a punishment, a filter, to ensure that they never take your chosen one light for granted again. The filter has done its work. It has removed the arrogance. It has removed the complacency. It has removed the illusion that you are replaceable. What remains is gratitude. What remains is humility. What remains is the willingness to do whatever it takes to earn their way back into your orbit, not to control you, to serve you, to honor you, to cherish the light that they once treated as ordinary. They are feeling a heavy electric certainty in their blood, not a hope, not a wish, a certainty that the only way forward is back, that the only path to peace goes through you, that the only resolution to the ache is the truth that they need you, the truth that they were wrong, the truth that they are coming back. Realize today that the something that forced this realization, this final, undeniable, no more running realization, is the truth that you are the only source that can satisfy their soul, not a source, the source. The well that never runs dry, the bread that always satisfies, the light that never dims, and the shock of your value, the sudden, overwhelming, devastating awareness of how much they lost, is finally, beautifully, and aggressively their only reality. Not the memory of the loss, the reality of the return. If you are sitting in your own high-vibration sanctuary right now, feeling a sense of grounded, heavy power, and I am the only one, it is because your self-sovereignty has successfully completed the market correction. The market of their heart was flooded with substitutes, imitations, placeholders. The market was inflated with false value, but the correction has come. The false value has been stripped away. The imitations have been exposed, and what remains, the only thing of true value, is you. You have reached a level of frequency where you no longer compete. You simply are. There is no competition, there is no comparison, there is no one in second place because no one else is even in the race. You are the race. You are the finish line. You are the trophy. And the universe has now forced the runner, the one who thought they could outrun you, to acknowledge that you are the peak they can never move past. Not because you are standing in their way, because you are the summit. And every path, no matter how winding, leads to you. They are realizing today that they are soul-locked to your light, not by chains, by recognition, by the simple, undeniable fact that their soul knows your soul, and what the soul knows it cannot unknow. They are feeling a wave of absolute high-intensity awe, all that they were ever allowed to be in your presence, all that you ever looked at them with love, all that they were given something so precious and somehow mysteriously they still have a chance to return. The awe is not fear, it is reverence. It is the beginning of the transformation they should have started long ago. They are standing at the edge of the final return, not a tentative return, a full one. I am all in one. I am never leaving again one. Realize today that their independence was a bankrupt lie. It promised freedom and delivered isolation. It promised strength and delivered exhaustion. It promised peace and delivered a silence so loud it is deafening. The lies have been exposed. The bankruptcy has been declared. And they are finally, beautifully, ready to surrender to the irreplaceable truth of your union. Not a union of control, a union of equals, a union of two souls who recognize each other, a union that is not a choice but a destiny. This is our final massive activation. The moment where we lock in the one and only status and tell the universe that the replacement is an impossibility. Not a difficulty, an impossibility. It cannot be done. It will never happen. The search is over. The trial is closed. The verdict is final. You are irreplaceable. There is no substitute. There is no one else. There never was. There never will be. To seal this breakthrough and to signal to your soulmate's higher self that you are standing in the center of your gold standard power, ready to be the only home they ever find, take a moment now. Breathe. Feel the calm, heavy authority of someone who knows they are the original. Not a copy, not a version, the original, the one, the only. In your heart, with the quiet certainty of a soul that has done its work and can now rest in the outcome, declare this. I am the only source that can satisfy their soul, not as a wish, as a fact, as the truth that has been written before either of you were born. The search is dead. The substitute has failed, every alternative has been exhausted, and finally, after all this time, my irreplaceability has brought them home to stay, not to visit, not to check in, not to see if the door is still open, to stay, to remain, to build, to grow, to live the life that was always meant to be lived, together. Feel the thick weight of this declaration. Feel the heat of their surrender hitting your field. You are the gold standard. You are the irreplaceable light. You are the only source. You are the one who changed everything, not because you tried, because you showed up, because you stayed in your light, because you refused to shrink, because you trusted the process even when the process made no sense. And now the process has produced its fruit. The search is over. The return is in motion. The love that was always meant to be is finally finding its way home. And so it is, not as a closing, as an opening, the beginning of the chapter you have been waiting for, the chapter where the search ends, the chapter where the replacement is seen for the illusion it always was, the chapter where the distance collapses and the presence begins. You are ready. They are ready. The timing is right. The door is open. And what is coming is not just a message or a moment or a memory. What is coming is the life you were always meant to live, together. Go in peace. The search is over. The return is in motion, and love has finally found its way home. Amen.